Where are you going to?
I'm gonna pay URA visit.
Why would anyone visit URA? Of all places?
To know more about the Kakasa business solutions, namely digital tracking solution, the voluntary disclosure program and electronic fiscal receipting, and invoicing solution, which have turned my business around. You know I need to be on top of my game to protect my empire. If you know, you know.
I too need to know what Kapo knows.
Kakasa, be sure you are in charge of your business. Uganda Revenue Authority, developing Uganda together.
Wait, Abu, tunamaliriza. And what are you doing throwing papers all over the place?
I'm looking for an invoice for a sound system and cables that I received yesterday, but I can't find it.
You know there is a way of keeping all this in one place and available to you as and when you need it.
I really wish there was one, because the way these invoices grow legs and disappear.
I believe this is what you're looking for.
Now how did it get there?
Tabo! Do you know that with EFRIS, you can stay on track of all your business transactions and improve on your record keeping?
How so?
Kati tuli ku computer with EFRIS. I just search using the fiscal document number and I retrieve the records I'm looking for. Bookkeeping becomes simple after that.
Kapo, awesome, yeah.
I began using URA's Kakasa solutions and now I'm in charge of my business. And you can as well.
Kakasa, be sure you are in charge of your business.
Uganda Revenue Authority, developing Uganda together. Uganda Revenue Authority, developing Uganda together.
In chess, the small one can become the big one. It's the same here. And here too. Watch every move. Record every number so you can plan better. No matter the size of your dream, tomorrow's success belongs to those who keep today's records clean. File your returns today.
Uganda Revenue Authority, developing Uganda together.
That's my little angel Rose. Together with millions of other children, my daughter Rose is assured of learning something new every day. Moses, my husband, just like many other commercial farmers, has his business supported so he can provide for us. When my other little one was on the way, even with my pregnancy complications, it was a quick, smooth ride to Mulago Specialized Women and Neonatal Hospital. Also, my new baby was able to make it through his first days with the help of specialized equipment thanks to the reliable electricity which has also been extended throughout the country. All this and more has been made possible because of you.
Join us and together let's do more for our country. Get your free tin at www.ura.go.ug.
Thank you for paying your taxes.
Uganda Revenue Authority. Developing Uganda together.
Kapo, you seem to be in a hurry. Where are you going to?
I'm gonna pay URA visit.
Why would anyone visit URA? Of all places?
To know more about the Kakasa Business Solutions, namely digital tracking solution, the voluntary disclosure program and electronic fiscal receipting, and invoicing solution, which have turned my business around. You know I need to be on top of my game to protect my empire. If you know, you know.
I too need to know what Kapo knows.
Kakasa, be sure you are in charge of your business. Uganda Revenue Authority, developing Uganda together.
Wait, Abu. Tunamaliliza. And what are you doing throwing papers all over the place?
I'm looking for an invoice for a sound system and cables that I received yesterday, but I can't find it.
You know there is a way of keeping all this in one place and available to you as and when you need it.
I really wish there was one, because the way these invoices grow legs and disappear.
I believe this is what you're looking for.
Now how did it get there?
Tabo! Do you know that with EFRIS, you can stay on track of all your business transactions and improve on your record keeping?
How so?
Katituli ku computer with EFRIS. I just search using the fiscal document number and I retrieve the records I'm looking for. Bookkeeping becomes simple after that.
Kapo, awesome, yeah.
I began using URS Kakasa Solutions and now I'm in charge of my business. And you can as well.
Kakasa, be sure you are in charge of your business.
Uganda Revenue Authority. Developing Uganda together. Uganda Revenue Authority. Developing Uganda together.
In chess, the small one can become the big one. It's the same here. And here too. Watch every move. Record every number so you can plan better. No matter the size of your dream, tomorrow's success belongs to those who keep today's records clean. File your returns today.
Uganda Revenue Authority. Developing Uganda together.
Uganda Revenue Authority reminds all taxpayers to file their monthly returns and make all outstanding payments by the 15th of every month. Please comply to avoid penalties and interest associated with failure to file returns and payment of these taxes. For further clarifications, call us on our toll-free line 0800-117-000 or email us on services@ura.go.ug. Please ignore this message if you have already complied.
Uganda Revenue Authority. Developing Uganda together.
That's my little angel Rose. Together together with millions of other children, my daughter Rose is assured of learning something new every day. Moses, my husband, just like many other commercial farmers, has his business supported so he can provide for us. When my other little one was on the way, even with my pregnancy complications, it was a quick, smooth ride to Mulago Specialized Women and Neonatal Hospital. Also, my new baby was able to make it through his first days with the help of specialized equipment thanks to the reliable electricity which has also been extended throughout the country. All this and more has been made possible because of you.
Join us and together let's do more for our country. Get your free tin at www.ura.go.ug.
Thank you for paying your taxes.
Uganda Revenue Authority. Developing Uganda together.
Kapo, you seem to be in a hurry. Where are you going to?
I'm gonna pay URA a visit.
Why would anyone visit URA? Of all places?
To know more about the Kakasa Business Solutions, namely digital tracking solution, the voluntary disclosure program and electronic fiscal receipting, and invoicing solution, which have turned my business around. You know I need to be on top of my game to protect my empire. If you know, you know.
I too need to know what Kapo knows.
Kakasa, be sure you are in charge of your business. Uganda Revenue Authority, developing Uganda together.
Wait, Abu. Tunamaliriza. And what are you doing throwing papers all over the place?
I'm looking for an invoice for a sound system and cables that I received yesterday, but I can't find it.
You know there is a way of keeping all this in one place and available to you as and when you need it.
I really wish there was one, because the way these invoices grow legs and disappear.
I believe this is what you're looking for.
Now how did it get there?
Tabo! Do you know that with EFRIS, you can stay on track of all your business transactions and improve on your record keeping?
How so?
Kati tuli ku computer with EFRIS. I just search using the fiscal document number and I retrieve the records I'm looking for. Bookkeeping becomes simple after that.
Kapo, awesome, yeah.
I began using URA's Kakasa Solutions and now I'm in charge of my business. And you can as well.
Kakasa, be sure you are in charge of your business.
Uganda Revenue Authority. Developing Uganda together. Uganda Revenue Authority. Developing Uganda together.
In chess, the small one can become the big one. It's the same here. And here too. Watch every move. Record every number so you can plan better. No matter the size of your dream, tomorrow's success belongs to those who keep today's records clean. File your returns today.
Uganda Revenue Authority. developing Uganda together.
Good morning, our viewers. Welcome to today's special webinar, the Tax MUCHUZI webinar. And today we are going to discuss the update on the operation of the manual credit note system. Of course, this follows the there's a webinar that we held 2 weeks ago where we discussed about the cancellation of the automatic approval of the credit note on EFRIS. Now the system is now manual. Of course, there are so many questions, so many complaints that have come through, whereby taxpayers have said we have been the system, the country, or rather the world is now going electronic. Why are you now taking us back to the manual system? So today, after that webinar that we held that time, today this is a follow-up webinar whereby we are discussing the update. How do you use the manual system? How can you benefit from it? Why did we opt for the manual system? Of course, we believe there are so many changes that we shall keep on making. Maybe one point in time it will go, or we shall go back to the automatic system. But today we are discussing the update. My name is Sale Kamba Chidandaire, and today we have I always call her my partner in crime, because we always do a lot together in terms of tax education and operation. Allow me to introduce, or rather to let her introduce herself before we start. Thank you.
Good morning, our viewers. Hafsa Seguya, my name's from the Tax Literacy Unit, resident in the Domestic Taxes Department. Our work is to create awareness, nurture you, equip you with whatever skills to ensure that your compliance is good. To give you updates from our end to see how best you can utilize what we have on the system, our services. We see how best we can deliver what we need to deliver for you as regards our service delivery, and see how you can walk the journey well in terms of compliance. So today we are basically looking at credit notes. We made modifications here and there, but some of our clients are still not yet updated of how to go about with them. So we are here once again to see how best we can update each other. We can move with what is available. Yes, it may be a little painful, but let us see how we can reduce the service level agreement in terms of turnaround time, the way we are going to manage the flow of these credit notes on the URS side, so that our client can receive the feedback in real time that will inform the VAT return I will be waiting for.
Thank you, Hafsa. Now, we have so many times in most of our campaigns, we've always talked about the benefits of being on EFRIS, using the online system, the EFRIS system, and now tomorrow is the deadline for filing returns, right? However, briefly, before we go into that, tell us, what is a credit note? What are the risks of going manual instead of remaining on the risk on both sides, and what has you already done to mitigate such risks in case, because so many complaints are coming through from the taxpayers? Briefly, give us a background.
A credit note is like any other business document that is legitimately issued when a scenario arises. Which scenario is this? You're in business, trading very well, comfortably, then you happen to issue an invoice to the other party of yours you're transacting with. Along the way, there may be issues that come up. Either you have return inwards, implying that some goods have been returned. There could be a reason. Either they could be damaged, they could be expired, and at times they are not the right items I requested for, or you might have given me much more than probably what was on the LPO initially when I was coming up with this kind of transaction. So ultimately, like any other business, a credit note is healthy because it's supported by law. In Section 30 of the VAT Act, Cap 349, it's where the strength comes up to show you that the credit note is okay. Because definitely we have business adjustments, and these adjustments can come in Section 21 of the VAT Act, still Cap 349.
Okay.
So for example, you might have issued an invoice. I might have issued it to you. We are both in business, and it's maybe about 2 million. Then along the way you discover whatever I supplied you with probably was not the right thing. Maybe you ordered for children's shoes, and along the way, within the children's shoes, I put in gents. And I invoiced you to a tune of 2 million.
You say that, well, how about, because of course, sometimes you might order for a pair of, for so many pairs of shoes, and then they only bring one side of the.
That is okay. Bringing one side is okay because that means there is another foot that has remained behind that you can equally send me. And that may come through a delivery note.
Okay.
Because that doesn't antagonize the mode of how we are trading, because it still remains a pair. Because there is no one who is going to buy one foot. Ultimately, you have to just send it to me to complete the pair. But here we are looking at the description. I ordered for children's shoes, and along the way within maybe the 100 pairs, the 15 you accidentally sent me men's shoes.
Okay.
And when you started your billing, definitely children's shoes are not the same as men's. Something happened. Definitely men's are more expensive.
Yes, of course. Yes.
So as you send them back, it implies that in the event that they were at a higher price than what I wanted, then that means that invoice has to change.
But again, in terms of the taxes, because yes, it is. Okay, we are making. Let's say the buyer is making changes. Okay, based on the description that you gave, the definition. Does it also mean that if you go back to the system, because initially it used to be online, whereby in case there are changes, right?
Yes.
Someone could easily also go into the system and say, based on what was delivered to me, even the taxes. Let's say the shoes were men's, so it means they were more expensive, so it also affects. But now, the system is now going manual.
Yes.
Won't it affect? Doesn't it affect the time? You talked about the is it
the SLA?
Yes.
The time in which we are using to manage.
Yes. In terms of return filing,
deciding
and
on
tax payment.
Exactly.
Isn't it affecting
it is
the time?
not going to affect the timing of filing your return. Maybe tell me it is going to affect the nature of the return you are bringing.
Okay.
Because whenever I delay with a decision to a credit note, it means the client is going to use the original invoice to file. And when they're using the original invoice, that implies that it shows that I sold to that tune. Yet actually, I am making a reverse of it. What does it imply? It means I have to pay, because that's output VAT.
Okay.
And whenever that output VAT reduces, ultimately it will reduce my payment. But here I haven't made a decision. Me, URA, who has the rights of verifying and probably approving this credit note. So by the time this client has to file, maybe a decision hasn't been made, so the client has to use the original invoice. Maybe that is where I see the pain could be.
Yes.
But not in the timing, because it doesn't shift the 15th date. Because when you're supposed to file by the 15th, nobody told you to wait for the 15th. I'm looking at first, second, third, up to 15th. You could give me what is available. As you wait for me to make a decision on these credit notes pertaining that month, then as I make a decision, for example, you have put in your return on the 1st. As I make a decision on these, along the way, you will see whether it will be in position to advise you to amend this return, or you are going to reflect them in the following month. Because what happens to a credit note? Just imagine it was December where the activity happened.
Okay.
And at the end of the month, you pushed in credit notes. And ideally, I did not make a decision before 31st. I'm making a decision in January. That calls for a January date on this credit note because it's an independent document. Just because it follows through the invoice.
Okay.
So what happens? You may not be able to amend this return using this credit note because it has come through with a January date. And mark you, whatever you're going to put in the VAT return for December has to read December dates. Maybe that is where the pain I see is on the client side.
Actually, you've talked about that, but there's a...
What does it call for? I do not want this client to wait and push in the credit note at the end of March. If a credit note arises at the beginning, send it through quickly so that I make a decision, respond, then you know you can ably push it in that return for that month.
Okay.
But when you lump them up and wait for month end, yet they are no longer automated, they start manual, that means it may not favor you in terms of filing the figures in this return. You may end up making some payments, probably where they would have been reduced by the credit note. But however, even though it's approved afterwards, you could include it in the following month's transactions in that return.
Isn't the system also dealing now on the side of URA? Isn't it also affecting the revenue collections and because I remember at that time we used to the targets used to be hit, but now isn't it affecting the revenue collection side?
It is not affecting the revenue collection ultimately. It is going to affect the cash flow of the client in the short run.
So you've shifted the burden.
Because we are not shifting the burden. It's just a mechanism in trade.
Okay.
It's a mechanism in accounting. It's an arithmetic mechanism.
Okay.
That when you are to file for that transaction, what do you have at hand? You have the invoice at hand. You do not have the credit note because it is still in transit. It's not yet approved.
Okay.
So probably what I would see, it's basically affecting the cash flow of the client. But to URA, you are going to reflect the invoice figures and you will pay what is payable according to that.
Okay.
Because if you have your invoice of 5 million and the credit note you placed probably is going to reduce it to about 2 million, that means there is a 3 million that needed my audience in real time that probably hasn't happened.
Okay.
But will happen, then you will probably reflect it later. It's kind of a delayed action that happens moving forward because, yes, when we rolled out IFRIS on the 1st of July 2020, we availed a self-service arrangement where we imagine that you're in agreement with your partner in business. The fact that you can sit down and say we are going to trade, equally we expected it to be in the same spirit that when an action comes or a scenario of raising a credit note comes, then the other party should be informed and probably make a decision.
Okay.
If they're in agreement of why you're raising it, then they should approve it. If they are not in agreement, they had a leeway to reject and probably first get back to you. That was also there, but it was automated. So it was depending on the relationship you would have with your partner in business.
What is the, how does, can you take us through briefly the process of the manual?
The process of the manual. Yes, you will go to the portal. Our normal portal page, www.ura.go.ug. You don't need to log into any account. Just scroll down that page. Towards the end of the page, you'll see where we have download manual forms. As you click there, you will get 2 departments, customs and domestic taxes. This falls under domestic taxes.
Okay.
Because it's VAT. Then you click on domestic taxes. Okay. It will give you a number of forms there, but you will select return forms.
Okay.
As you click on return forms, whatever it will avail there the first form it avails is an application for a credit note.
Okay.
It's a PDF. Please print it.
Fill it in.
Fill it in, download it, print it, fill it in. But make sure I fill it in capital letters.
Okay.
Because we have different handwriting.
The ink does not matter?
The ink doesn't matter provided
Even
you can.
red ink?
But it's rare. Why do we use red?
Anti-danger.
But what is danger? It is okay to issue a credit note, by the way. And it even depends on your business model. There are business models where you expect credit notes to happen. Let me give you an example. We have media. We have media, and let me start with print media. That is a newspaper. You print and supply them to whatever outlets you have, the supermarkets, the selling points.
Okay.
But mark you, this print media is for that day. News is for that day. And once I don't read it that day, chances I won't need it tomorrow.
But there's some will it governed.
So what happens, the procedure is, once you can't sell all of them, please bring back the balance.
Okay.
Because there's nobody who is going to use the papers. But for you, the media house, probably you will recycle the paper, you will do whatever you need and all that.
Okay.
Or you will keep some in archives in case one needs to refer to them some years down the road. So you actually have use for it. So that implies that this media company invoiced to a tune of 10,000 papers. And what has come back are 2,000.
Okay.
What will it do? It needs to raise a credit note to those different outlets because 2,000 has come back. But it has come back from Barra outlet. We have Kampala, we have probably Masindi and all that. They have to raise credit notes to the different.
Okay.
Because initially what was paid was way higher. Because as you take them out, you pay. Then as they come back, then definitely these are returning ones.
Okay.
Some hasn't been sold, so they are returning it to you. Imply that if I had paid for maybe about 100 pieces, then I need to be reimbursed for the 20 I am bringing back.
Okay.
So, if I am looking at a business model of such a scenario, it is okay, it will happen. Just let me give you another example. I am looking at an insurance company.
Okay.
An insurance company will raise a policy. And as it raises a policy to HAFSA, the policy has an amount. It's this, that, blah, blah, blah. Yes. Then HAFSA is looking for money. She's there. Along the way, she fails.
Okay.
They have already raised an invoice, knowing HAFSA there is going to pay. She has committed herself. Along the way, she fails. She loses interest and all that. Once that happens, that implies that they will raise a credit note.
But again,
to cancel everything. Probably I've lost interest or I can't manage, and it's reverted back.
Okay.
And let me give you another scenario. You have a vehicle. You have a third-party arrangement, either comprehensive.
Okay.
Then it's a UBD 500Z.
Okay.
Along the way, in the course of that year, you say, I've got a better deal. I need to buy the other car.
Okay.
Mark you, the policy is attached to this registration plate.
But again,
then as you acquire the other one and bring it and say, I need the cover on this.
Okay.
The other policy was running for a year. They need to terminate this and probably issue an endorsement. So a credit note comes in handy. And the other one may be of a higher value. That means even the premium you need to pay has to be higher. Or it could be of a lower value depending on what car you're bringing in. So ideally this has to be cancelled.
Details have to change. Okay, and then
because everything
changes.
Exactly. It's not of the same year of manufacture and everything, not same make and all that. So you cancel this for the other one moving forward. And that is their business.
There's one of the complaints that it was, by the way, it is a very critical observation, because at first we said EFRIS was targeting mostly VAT registered taxpayers, right? But again, on the portal, or rather the VAT system is manual. You get it? It's still manual. Is it the VAT for someone to register for VAT? Okay, VAT, is it a manual system?
It's not a manual system
you have
because
to
you go
download
log in your account.
Okay.
And you say you're going to do an amendment. Which amendment? I'm adding a tax type.
Which form do they download from the portal? There's a form.
You don't need to download. You fill everything online. But at submitting is when we are going to receive a notification. You don't need to download anything. So as I receive a signal, it is me, the officer, who has to get in touch with you and go with my inspection form.
Okay.
Because I need to know where is your business, what does it do, does it deal in standard rated items, are they vatable, are you dealing in mixed, and all that detail.
Okay.
I need to know, do you have a fixed place of abode? Where will we find you today? And what happens, what justifies this fixed place of abode? I need to look at the tenancy agreement.
Okay.
Because you may stage manage me and say, I work from here. I come and write everything. Coming tomorrow, there is no office. Are you aware there are spaces these days you can rent out for a day? You rent it out, it becomes your office for a day, transact. When somebody comes the following day, it's an empty space. For another person to rent out, that is where we have gone. That's how far we have gone. So that means I'll ask for things like tenancy agreement to see if actually this is where you work from, then what justifies that?
What
that
informed
means
you?
there's a tenancy agreement, there are receipts
So
for
many
rent
okay.
that are in a repetitive nature,
Okay.
that confirm that actually this is where you belong. So there are things we look out for, and probably maybe the other is to make a test of your income and see, can you make 150 in a whole year? When I look at your documents, your business records here, if that fails, can I look at a quarter? Can you make the 37.5 so that I say, okay, this test will help me.
37.5 per month, per year, or
a quarter.
A quarter. Okay.
Because if my threshold is 150,
okay.
So for simplicity, when I look at a quarter
has how many months?
A quarter has 3 months.
3 months, okay.
Yes. So I'm looking at 37.5. Can you be able to make that? So that is how I graduate you to VAT. And when I graduate you to VAT, I have to initiate you into it, telling you, you know, this tax head requires a monthly return, and this monthly return has to reach us by the 15th day. I do not mind how it appears because I have a nil return, I have an offset return, I have a payment return, I have a cash refund that
even cash refunds
graduates from an offset. So you feel free to see what is happening in your business is what you reflect.
Okay.
Because there are businesses that you start, most so if you're not in wholesale and retail, you may not realize anything maybe in the first few months. Because with wholesale and retail, it's where you trade on a daily. You can't fail to get somebody buying this and that, this and that. But there are businesses, say you're a contractor.
Okay.
You can't say today, tomorrow, the other day you have a job. Because the process of even getting that particular job to do takes quite some time. There are bids put in, there is opening of bids, there is a verification and all that. Then ultimately there is a starting to do your work. And when you start, by the way, when you're looking at some of these clients, when they start, you don't expect any payments if it's VAT. Because if I'm a contractor, you expect more or less input. Because I'm inputting.
Okay.
I'm buying this and that to do the constructions or the maintenances that I am supposed to do. Then ultimately, maybe after the first stage, they need to give me a certificate of completion. They need to come and verify whether actually I have done the right thing. The engineer has to come and see that actually it's good work.
Okay.
So that's when I get the first payment.
Okay.
So at that time when one gets a first payment is when you expect their VAT return to reflect something with output. So ideally it is, why I'm bringing all this, I want us to appreciate
the process.
The process.
Because
we have different businesses and there are different business models. Okay. Yes, the reason why we try to say let us make an intervention with the URA staff and see why are credit notes being issued maybe towards the end of the month We need to study and see, but throughout our studies now, we are realizing the different business models we have
in the country.
Exactly. And maybe the way they work is just like that. So ideally, that's why I brought media. Because just imagine when you have a number of, say, media appearances. I would call them media appearances, but we're used to calling them talk shows. And say you're going to run in a certain media house, you're running about 20 in a month. And the 20 end on the 30th. So ideally, that media house has invoiced you for the 20.
Okay.
But along the way, I failed to appear on 1 or 2. By the way, it has invoiced you for the 20 slots, and you didn't appear on some of them. What does it call for? A credit note. I mean, a credit note is healthy. But what we needed to confirm is justification of why it has to appear and to that match.
Okay.
That is basically the intervention URA brought. But maybe what we need to reaffirm to our clients is we are going to ensure that we reduce on the turnaround time.
Okay.
Initially, we are looking at 5 days, implying that the first day is acknowledgement, then the next 2 we are going to do the detailed data entry, where we are entering what you put on this manual form onto the system. Then we have the verification, then approval. So at the detailed data entry, we have the 2 days, then verification and approval the other 2 days. So that is why they are 5, but we are still looking of a much shorter way of seeing how best we can take a shorter time, and maybe even the manual bit of it, we see, can we avail an Excel sheet for one to fill online?
Okay.
Can we are looking at how we can shorten that process.
Okay, so meaning that is it is still a process that is being studied and it will be improved in time, right?
Exactly.
However,
we're improving
like briefly, like what informed your Togo manual?
What informed your Togo manual?
Because taxpayers they are saying MUCHUZI Mabega, you guys are taking us back to the old system, and yet the world is now going E.
We appreciate. We didn't plan to go manual, but it was just mitigating a risk that we had seen.
What were the risks?
Actually, the risk was misuse of credit notes.
Okay.
And when you don't cap the misuse, that means you will get less revenue.
Was it the only risk? Are there any other risks, or some of them cannot say them here on air?
That is the most important at large. We were looking at misusing them.
Fraud.
Yes, and actually when you misuse a credit note, ultimately to a tax person, revenue will reduce.
Okay, revenue.
So we were trying to see how best, how can we work with our clients, but not inconveniencing them, but trying to see how we can cause some bit of looking at what exactly happens with these credit notes. The pattern, are they in good faith?
Okay.
Can we talk to the other party and see did it actually happen? Because even what we have realized, even in the manual ones, I think we need to inform our clients moving forward. When you fill this form and actually put your details, then in section B you put the details of the buyer, that person who bought from you. Then actually you put the FDN number, that's a physical document number, the amounts and the affected amounts. We have a selective of reasons we give you. Are you cancelling that invoice? Are you altering the nature of supply? Is there an error on the original invoice? Are you altering the previously agreed supply? Maybe you're supplying something different, and is part of these goods being returned to the supplier? So, and even others. because there could be other reasons that we haven't thought about.
Okay.
But yet, when a client tells you, it's actually genuine.
Okay.
So we were basically looking at that. But what I urge our clients, when you come and select one of those reasons I have said on this credit note application in section B, normally we have a column that has reason. I want you to help me put a narrative. Because ultimately you may say altering nature of supply. From what to what? I need to understand.
You must emphasize on that. Put some emphasis
From
on that.
what to what?
Emphasize it. You should emphasize that.
Because in the form, in section B, you have chosen that. But what, from what to what? And saying, okay, cancellation, you could say, we are cancelling the whole transaction. That could seem obvious.
Okay.
But when you're altering, can you just imagine when I have a credit note that has 10 items, but amongst the 10, I have only one item that has issues. The rest are okay.
Okay.
So how will me, the tax officer, how will I guess that I am touching on item 1, item 2 or 3? It is you who has to guide me that item number 3 has some bit of errors.
Okay.
The price quoted was
Was
supposed to be this instead of that.
Okay.
So that will guide me in knowing actually that the rest are okay. So at times when we don't put a narrative, it brings a back and forth. I need to call the other party. The other party may not be that cooperative or is not giving me a clear signal and all that. So that is where some of these delays normally come from.
Okay.
And maybe items to be adjusted. If you're changing the nature, then tell me I had to supply soda this brand. But I actually supplied another brand.
Okay.
Instead of Coke, it was supposed to be maybe Sprite or whatever it was that your counterpart. And even attachments. Because as you tell me you're cancelling a transaction, in most cases you've already even issued another invoice.
Yes, true.
Because you are aware this one will not work for you. So at least help me to attach the two. To ease my work. Okay. Just attach copies that I'm cancelling FDN this number in favor of this because this was wrongly invoiced.
Okay.
Or the item we invoiced is out of stock. When we realize we couldn't supply and we are going to supply this instead. Okay. That makes sense.
Okay. Of course, this is a very interesting topic that that has caused so much debate online, especially in terms of us, in terms of URA going back to the old system, going back to just like some people say, to the Aleman stages whereby things are manual.
We are not going back just because the behavior of our clients pushed us to get a quicker workaround.
To go back to the
and that is the quicker workaround we had, but we are improving it day by day to come up to speed with the digital.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, our viewers. Let's have we are going for a short break. Then after that, we shall come back with more discussions.
Uganda Revenue Authority reminds all taxpayers to file their monthly returns and make all outstanding payments by the 15th of every month. Please comply to avoid penalties and interest associated with failure to file returns and payment of these taxes. For further clarifications, call us on our toll-free line 0800-117-000 or email us on services@ura.go.ug. Please ignore this message if you have already complied.
Uganda Revenue Authority, developing Uganda together. Uganda Revenue Authority. Developing Uganda together.
That's my little angel Rose. Together with millions of other children, my daughter Rose is assured of learning something new every day. Moses, my husband, just like many other commercial farmers, has his business supported so he can provide for us. When my other little one was on the way, even with my pregnancy complications, it was a quick, smooth ride to Mulago Specialized Women and Neonatal Hospital. Also, my new baby was able to make it through his first days with the help of specialized equipment thanks to the reliable electricity which has also been extended throughout the country. All this and more has been made possible because of you.
Join us and together let's do more for our country. Get your free tin at www.ura.go.ug.
Thank you for paying your taxes.
Uganda Revenue Authority. Developing Uganda together.
Kapo, you seem to be in a hurry. Where are you going to?
I'm gonna pay URA visit.
Why would anyone visit URA? Of all places?
To know more about the Kakasa Business Solutions, namely digital tracking solution, the voluntary disclosure program and electronic fiscal receipting, and invoicing solution, which have turned my business around. You know I need to be on top of my game to protect my empire. If you know, you know.
I too need to know what Kapo knows.
Kakasa, be sure you are in charge of your business. Uganda Revenue Authority, developing Uganda together.
Wait, Abu, tunamaliliza. And what are you doing throwing papers all over the place?
I'm looking for an invoice for a sound system and cables that I received yesterday, but I can't find it.
You know there is a way of keeping all this in one place and available to you as and when you need it.
I really wish there was one, because the way these invoices grow legs and disappear.
I believe this is what you're looking for.
Now how did it get there?
Tabo! Do you know that with EFRIS, you can stay on track of all your business transactions and improve on your record keeping?
How so?
Kati tuli ku computer with EFRIS. I just search using the fiscal document number and I retrieve the records I'm looking for. Bookkeeping becomes simple after that.
Kapo, awesome, yeah.
I began using URA's Kakasa Solutions and now I'm in charge of my business. And you can as well.
Kakasa, be sure you are in charge of your business.
Uganda Revenue Authority. Developing Uganda together.
Uganda Revenue Authority reminds all taxpayers to file their monthly returns and make all outstanding payments by the 15th of every month. Please comply to avoid penalties and interest associated with failure to file returns and payment of these taxes. For further clarifications, call us on our toll-free line 0800-117-000 or email us on services@ura.go.ug. Please ignore this message if you have already complied.
Uganda Revenue Authority. Developing Uganda together.
Yes, welcome back to the second session of the webinar, of the discussion. Don't forget to file your returns. Tomorrow is the deadline. Don't wait until the last minute and then you start panicking. And remember, the day you file is the same day to pay. Is it right, Hafsa?
Yes, it is. For the monthly returns.
Yes.
The day you file is the day you pay. Unlike for game pooling and betting tax, summary of the four, and giving us more details on the different games that happened at that betting center.
And now especially that AFCON, the African Cup of Nations, now taking place, and so many bets are being placed.
Exactly.
I believe the betting companies must be getting a lot of money. So meaning that it is weekly, right? They have a monthly.
Every Wednesday, we expect a return from them, and that is the same time we expect them to be paying what is coming out of that return. So for them, they have a weekly return, and those are 4 weeks.
4 weeks.
And at the end of the day, they have that monthly return.
Okay.
whereby we need to receive it by the 15th.
By the
It's
15th.
just an information return that gives us an in-depth
Information.
what exactly happened.
For them, they don't pay. Just file and
They pay against the weekly returns.
then the payment is
So
on
the
15th.
monthly is a summary of what happened. Because ideally they've already paid against the different activities that have happened on a weekly basis.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, of course, this is a special message to the betting companies. That if you have not yet filed your returns, always remember that you have to file every Wednesday, and then pay by 15th of every. Also file and pay by 15th of every month. Of course, there are so many other. Of course, withholding, just like Hafsa, my colleague here has said, withholding, pay as you earn, local excise duty by tomorrow. They must have filed and paid, right?
Exactly.
Yes. Once again, welcome back to this second session of the discussion, whereby we are discussing the update on operation of the money credit note system. Hafsa.
Yes.
Is there any plan by URA to go back to the online system, to the automatic system?
What we are managing now is not permanent. I would say it's a semi-permanent.
Semi-permanent.
Arrangement.
Okay.
But as I had initially told you, this was informed by the behavior of our clients.
Okay.
It wasn't our wish to go back to manual, but we looked for a mitigation that had to happen in real time, and we said, let's create an intervention. How? Let's first handle and see what could be happening. So anything can happen anytime. I wouldn't say we wouldn't go back. It would be in the best interest of going back because we are now in the digital world. But the misuse is where we want to see how to counteract that kind of risk.
Okay.
Once we have managed it well, anything can happen.
Okay.
We could go back once we are good, because what we are trying to look at is the revenue loss. We have to see that we bridge the gaps, the leakages there, so that we can go back. It is in our faith to use the automation.
Okay.
It's simpler for us. It gives us information in real time and everything. Just because a behavior came up and we needed to level the ground.
Okay, thank you.
We needed to.
Now, other than the credit note system, okay, from the discussion now, it is some observation here. Other than the credit note automation and the system that has been recently cancelled, what are the other benefits of using EFRIS? What are the other systems?
One, to the clients.
Yeah, to the clients, of course. Yeah.
We avail a validation method.
Okay.
There is validating this invoice in real time. Just imagine you've transacted over the weekend.
Okay.
Where you'll call Hafsa, who is not in office, to log on EFRIS, help you validate. But we have the validation in itself. And it's right in front of you. Most of us have smartphones. You just download the EFRIS Kakasa with EFRIS. I think now it's on the Ask URA app.
Yes,
You
it is,
download Ask URA app, you go to Kakasa with EFRIS.
Okay.
You put there the physical document number.
Okay.
Once it does not relay the information of the hard copy you're holding, then you know there is a problem.
Okay.
So you can basically tell whoever you're dealing with that there is a problem with the document you've given me.
Okay.
Two, we avail reports
On time.
in real time.
Okay.
These reports help you to file. They'll help you to analyze this business further.
Okay.
They inform management of that business, how this business is moving. Three, it smoothens the work of the business owner.
Okay.
Are you aware that you can just sit in the comfort of your home and you log in, you're the business owner, and you know how much stock is available at every outlet, provided you registered all these outlets in EFRIS. So you do not need to run around and go do stock checking. We need to count item by item. The system does it for you.
Okay.
And when you manage your stock as a business owner, you're actually managing your business. Because whatever happens, the manipulation is done within stock.
Okay.
That is when your balance stock is missing, it is not sold, you haven't realized monies from that particular lot So that is when you go and monitor online and see.
Online,
But you tell them, but we stocked in this much at this point.
Okay.
And according to our sales, I see this has been sold against that item. Then the stock is not balancing.
Okay.
What happened along the way? That is when you realize it, because what we had seen with most of our businesses, say in Uganda, they normally take stock at the end of the year. The Christmas year, you normally see businesses closing and taking stock in December, somewhere there, so that they can enter the new year with better figures.
Better figures.
But why do you wait for 12 months to take stock? Yet I can avail the stock levels for you in real time, on a daily, on a weekly.
Speaking of real time, there's a FEC system, just like you say, Kakasa. The Kakasa on the URI Ask URI app. Does it allow to, can it be done offline? Do I need data to be online all the time for me to access my information, or I can even do it offline?
What happens for offline are those that are using system to system.
Okay.
They can make use of the offline mode.
Okay.
But to others,
you have to be online.
Exactly, you have to have the
data. Must
it's
be
like saying that, can I be on WhatsApp without data?
Okay.
Can I make a call without airtime?
That's a good question.
I mean, it can't happen.
Okay.
That's the price you pay
Hey.
to get there. One who doesn't want to pay that price, definitely you can't use the facility. Every facility has a benefit.
Okay.
And it has what you put in to get there. So actually that is what it takes.
Is there plans to have it on the SMS code, to have a SMS code for it, or it has to be?
We were trying to come up with a USSD code with in IFRIS, most especially for those manufacturers that do root cells, because we realize wherever they do root cells, there is normally a network issues. But what we have done is we are now going to launch the EFDs. The electronic physical devices that will help them out. Yes, we are trying to also work on that, but it was a little slower. So we wanted to bring something that is workable, most for the informal sector. And it's a machine that is handy, like the machines you see at point of sale, that will give you that small receipt instead of using F4 to generate a receipt of about 2,000.
Okay.
Yet the value of the paper. And the printer itself, you need a laptop, you need a printer.
Okay.
So that's where we are.
What are root cells? You talked about it. I'm hearing it for the first time.
You're hearing root cells for the first time.
Yeah.
What happens? It's a business selling model.
Okay.
I'm a manufacturer. I supply to different outlets. But along the way, I need to reach out to a bigger audience.
Okay.
Yet I do not want to get premises to rent. What I do, I invest in vehicles.
Okay.
I put everything on my vehicles. I go deep down there, Buyikwe, Semuto inside there, to sell my items from there. And marquee where I'm going, I am not certain of the internet.
Okay.
What happens? That's why I needed to use a USSD code. If it's not there right now, I can say, let me try to use the EFT.
Anyway, of course, learning never stops, and I'm glad that I've learned online, live on air. Now that is the meaning of route sales for those who didn't know. Of course, I'm part of
because you take a particular route while you're selling. You don't just drive that I'm going to Ginger, and the journey does not have any financial value. So what happens as I drive? I am promoting my items.
Okay.
I think you've seen these vehicles.
Actually, I was going to ask you, does it is it similar? Of course, now kulima olwawansi or utalibo is it something like that?
Utalibo is different.
Okay.
It is a day you designate
that on this
and
day I'm
say that every last Saturday of the month, we are going to be
in Chireka,
in a particular trading
Chireka
center.
Republic, yes.
So you bring all your commodities there because our clients know that there is a market.
Market day.
There is a market day every 30th day or every last weekend, last Saturday of the month.
Okay.
Whereas these sales are mobile. I am moving inside there. One, I am promoting the item. At the same time, I am selling. What you realize with these route sales, most of these vehicles are branded with these items
like
to simplify the marketing bit of it.
Okay.
Emotoka etunda chi, you already see. There is a lady holding a bottle of a lotion, some hair pomade. There is, I mean, it's simpler for them. And it is catching.
Okay.
It's in colors that appeal to you to come close and say, Kandabeko.
Just like our Tujenge bus, the way it has tin is free whenever you see.
Exactly.
Only that for this site, it's not a profit thing. It's just a service that's being
Yes,
offered
it's
free.
a service nearer to the clients.
Okay.
Yes. But here it's with a profit motive because actually they're in business.
Okay. Now, Hafsa, thank you so much for that. Thank you for the lecture. Now, I would call you Professor Hafsa Seguya. Now, from the trainings that you've always held with taxpayers, ever since, especially about the manual system, what are some of the complaints that you think URA can address, or what are some of the challenges? Because you cannot highlight the many challenges, cannot highlight all the challenges, but it takes a number. It's always a collective response for us to get feedback. So what are some of the feedback that you received from the taxpayers? Are there challenges they are facing?
Yes, among the challenges they are facing, find one, they are saying, it is manual. My tax office may be a little far from where I am, and you want me to keep printing and doing physical delivery. Secondly, they are saying it's hectic when you look at an entity that has a number of credit notes, a volume of
so many of them.
Exactly. So it's hectic to print those many, keep filling in here and there. Then others are talking about cash flow. Because once you take long to give me a decision on this credit note, then I will end up filing via the original invoice, and it may cause a payment that wouldn't have been there. Because actually probably these credit notes may have helped me to actually reflect the actual sales I have realized here, and that probably may lead to a decrease in what I would have paid. So they are saying it's bringing some cash flow problems to them. And others are saying they could have intermediaries. In some industries, you have intermediary, financial, the banking industry, the insurance, they have intermediaries. So when one URA is calling and saying, I'm calling this particular client, actually confirm whether you dealt with maybe insurance company so and so. Did they raise a credit note? This client doesn't even know the credit note. Intermediary who knows the business. This client is just waiting for the policy to be delivered to them. And maybe the other thing, let's look at a mortgage. I need a mortgage from the bank. And I go to the bank. The client, I may not even have information that this mortgage is insured. It is an instrument under stamp duty. And therefore it has to be insured. So when URA calls me, the applicant of the mortgage, I may say, Sibimanyi, the sigenda nga komu insurance. The chance you get a bank and register mortgage. You get? Not because it's just out of ignorance. Because what they need is the money. They don't know the gymnastics that comes through before the money is delivered to their account. Because The give of the money, the financial institution has to ensure in case of anything. So here I am calling the actual client. Me, the URA is calling the client. Please confirm, have you ever dealt with this? You know, you have an insurance policy. What happened? Did you pay and all that? I say, I don't know. I don't know. They can even switch off the phone.
Okay.
I don't think I understand those things. For me, I don't know.
The moment you start stammering, they switch off the phone.
Exactly, they may switch off, and I mean, we are losing the backlog on our side.
For example, supermarkets now.
Exactly. So we need to see how best we can manage the backlog so that we can serve our clients in real time. Because normally we have LCLAs that we agree on. We agreed on 5 days, which we feel we needed even to reduce more, at least to give clients about 3 days or 2. But it takes a lot. So we need to look into all this to see how best we can look at sector by sector and see what happens there, then fine-tune our system to provide for the different business sectors, because they are the people who give us the taxes. And therefore, our service should be in tandem with what they do.
All right. Thank you so much. Our viewers, don't forget that tomorrow is the deadline for filing your returns for VAT, pay as you earn, withholding tax, local excise duty. I think there's also, are they called diplomatic? Are there also something to do with the diplomatic?
Yes, the diplomatic, the missions, they file for VAT, but the reason why they file is we just need to know where they expensed from, then we refund them. Because they are entitled to that refund. They have immunity. So that is why actually they file. But when they don't file in real time, still we don't penalize them.
So meaning that, for example, if in case they didn't file for for November, December, and then they don't file for January, meaning even if they compile, it's called batch. I think it's something to do with batch body.
With them, where they paid the VAT. We refund the tax component, not the whole amount. We just pull out the tax component.
All right.
Yes. But they should have diplomatic IDs that are valid. Yes.
Okay, in just 1 minute.
Yes.
Actually, okay, in 1 minute, right? In just 1 minute. Which foreign exchange rate should be applied? Because there's someone asking here on Zoom. Just in just 3 words. Which foreign exchange rate should be applied to manage credit notes? Is it the one at the invoice date or at credit?
Have chosen the dollar or the pound, that is still okay. So if you didn't choose UGX, then we issue rates for VAT. Down there via the portal, you will see exchange rates. We issue monthly VAT exchange rates. Then we issue income tax rates that you can use for a year. Because with income tax, we expect 2 returns, the provision and the final. But with VAT, we expect a monthly return. So we issue exchange rates for monthly returns. Same applies to imports. We look at imports and we issue on monthly basis. So you pick it from there. So once the currency you use, if the reason in fact is I am correcting the exchange rate I used. So you pick the exchange rate that applied for that month in which the activity happened. Because VAT says VAT is due at the earliest of when an invoice is raised, when a service is rendered, when a payment is made. What came at the earliest? The invoice was raised. So if it was raised that month, please pick the exchange rate of that month if you're correcting it with a credit note.
Okay. Now, Anthony still. Anthony. Yes, we appreciate the administrative procedures that you are undertaking, but it has challenges with regard to long duration you take for approval of the credit notes, especially for your clients who invoice in US dollars. The forex exchange differences between when the invoice is raised and credit note approved may have great Of course, you've answered that one.
Yes, I've answered, because when I'm approving here in January, I am looking at what happened in December, because it originated from December. So we are picking that exchange rate of December. Let me give you an example. If I go to audit a client and I am auditing 2019, I'm auditing 2020, am I going to use exchange rates for 2022? No, I go back
to that time.
The rates were there. We have archives. It is what I apply, because it was what was applicable then.
At that time.
Exactly.
Okay. As we come to thank you, Hafsa. As we come to the end of the discussion, of course, now, the discussion is live. As we discuss now, it is live on YouTube, Facebook, and of course on Zoom, where we are now. You can always visit our DRI TV on YouTube for you to, in case you want to rewatch the discussion. Being that this is a special day for her, and this is a special webinar, of course, I'm going to allow Hafsa to give us a katalekeka and then end this show without me online. Hafsa.
I would like to thank you very much, our clients, for having stayed with us from 10 o'clock, learning together, doing everything together, hearing your side, and probably taking your side. Whatever challenges they are, we promise and pledge that we will see that they are made better in the systems that we put forward to you. And maybe to remind you, 15th is just tomorrow. Please push in that monthly return, that pay as you earn, that VAT, the withholding income tax, the game pooling and betting tax, the monthly one, the local excise duty. Please do push it in so that we can harmonize everything to avoid penalty, and even make that payment to avoid interest on late payment, because when you file and don't pay, that means you haven't completed the circuit. You have done something but stopped in the middle there. Please do make that payment. And in case probably you are incapacitated, we have remedies that can happen. You can apply for installment payment. Come to us, apply for installment. Once it's approved, we enter into an MOU. Then we see how you can clear it in bits as you're working. Thank you very much.
I believe this is what you're looking for.
Now how did it get there?
Tabo! Do you know that with EFRIS, you can stay on track of all your business transactions and improve on your record keeping?
How so?
Katituliku computer with EFRIS. I just search using the fiscal document.
Kakasa, be sure you are in charge of your business.
Uganda Revenue Authority. Developing Uganda together.
In chess, the small one can become the big one. It's the same here. And here too. Watch every move. Record every number so you can plan better. No matter the size of your dream, tomorrow's success belongs to those who keep today's records clean. File your returns today.
Uganda Revenue Authority. Developing Uganda together.